Hi, and welcome back. I'm so excited to be pushing out videos again. First of all, I want to apologize for the title of this video, right? Does accepting Catholic dogma make you a heretic according to Catholic dogma? Frankly, I didn't know what else to call this video. It is not intended to be rage bait. It's not intended to be clickbait. What I'm going to do is present, in my opinion, contradicting dogmas within the Catholic Church, specifically that would make you a heretic. Okay, so I do want to be very clear. This channel is not intended to be a channel bashing other faiths, and it's not even really designed to be this argumentative apologetics channel, right? Really, my goal with this channel is just to present to other Christians biblical teaching to show that, yes, the teaching of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is actually not unbiblical. That's the main point. However, in the sphere of religious conversation, I do think that this is an interesting discussion to be had. So I am going to pose a question, and it is my opinion that regardless of how you respond to this question, it will lead you to heresy, right? Heresy being a rejection of any of the Catholic dogmas. Okay, if there are any Catholics out there, please go ahead and correct me. But I think we're safe to go ahead and say, broadly speaking, that would make you a heretic if you reject Catholic dogma. So let's go ahead and jump into it. What's my question? Well, my question is this: is the substance of Jesus' physical body consubstantial with the Father and the Holy Spirit? All right, so let's go ahead and say, for instance, you say yes to this question, okay? If the physical incarnate substance of Jesus' physical body is consubstantial with the Father and the Holy Spirit, then it goes without saying that means that that substance is shared by the entire Trinity, which would mean that God has a body, okay, which is contrary to Catholic dogma, right, which teaches that God does not have a body. So if you hold this view, that makes you a heretic. Okay, now how do you get around this, right? Well, these three persons are all consubstantial, but how do we avoid this repercussion that, well, that means that God has a body? Well, I've heard a lot of people try to make a distinction between the divine essence or substance that makes God God and the incarnate physical substance that made Jesus man. Okay, so a lot of people I've seen have tried to separate the two, meaning, no, right, that Jesus' physical body, the substance of it, is unique to Jesus alone. It is not shared with the Father and the Holy Spirit. The only substance that is shared between the three is the divine substance. Now, frankly, I think this actually leads to a bigger issue for Catholicism than the response of yes. And why is that? Well, this would mean that Mary is not the mother of God. And how can I say that? If Mary is the mother of the incarnate physical substance of Jesus, and she is not, and Catholics will be the first to tell you, I'm sure, that she is not the mother of the divine essence, right? But if she is the mother of the physical substance of Jesus, which is not consubstantial with God, meaning the Trinity, then that means she is not the mother of God, okay? Which, Mary being the mother of God is a Catholic dogma. And so if you reject that, it makes you a heretic. I've heard many Catholics try to make a simplistic logical argument, right? Jesus is God. Mary is the mother of Jesus. Therefore, Mary is the mother of God. Well, if you're going to use that logic, you must be consistent, okay? If Jesus is God and Jesus has a body, then God has a body, right? And I don't think Catholics would be very quick to jump to that conclusion because, again, the implications of that, according to Catholic faith, are quite severe, okay? So here's a case where I would say you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Cake is very modalistic in that sense. You can eat it or you can retain it, but you cannot do both, right? So if Jesus is God, then that means that God has a body. But if Jesus is God, but his physical substance is not consubstantial with the Father and the Spirit, meaning that the Trinity does not have a body, then that means that Mary is the mother only of the incarnate physical substance of Jesus, which is the man part of him and is not the God part of him, meaning Mary is not the mother of God. So This is why, in my opinion, regardless of how you respond to this question about Christ's physical body being consubstantial with the Father and the Holy Spirit, regardless of how you respond to that, it will lead you to heresy. So, I'm very anxious to hear if there are any Catholics. Please let me know your opinion on this matter. I appreciate you, and I promise I will always be very respectful in my communication with you. So please feel free to communicate with me. Thanks for listening.